Hello. Yes, the mic works. Hello. Wait, what happened? It went back to Pabu's. Hello. Hello. Wait, what? Can you talk? Yeah, I'm just trying to get my talk again.
Yo, yo, yo,
Yeah,
hello,
that one works.
Rice Ball. Which emotes do I?
There we are, Bryce. Welcome.
Hey,
Welcome,
we've
Bryce.
arrived.
We have
We made it.
arrived. Wait, you still have a forehead emote?
Yeah, it's what do you mean? It's my emote.
Yeah, but like,
It's genuinely it's my emote.
yeah, but it doesn't really look like you're not a player anymore. You need a new emote.
No,
You
I
can't.
haven't streamed in a very long time.
You
So.
have. I've never seen you stream in the history of League of Legends.
That's not true.
When have
That's not true. I just have a Poggers stream.
if you can tell me if you could tell me a time in which you streamed?
No. I made it. I made it to one of those highlight, like the Synapse highlight clips.
Oh, did you?
And Brandon, yeah, Swiper just like owned me on Singed. I took a Bard portal into
Yeah.
Singed, ran me around, and then I think I took a Bard portal away from Singed, and I died mid portal into
Mm.
to like Singed poison. It was a disaster. I hated it.
Yeah, you look real good, Bryce, in that light.
Alright.
Actually, I'll be honest.
I opened the windows.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
that.
Anyways, welcome, welcome to those that are here. Uh, I think. Oh, there's Lolties, Miasma, and Lolties.
There we go.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you very much for getting here. So basically, what me and Bryce are gonna do is we're gonna break down. This week we're gonna break down the OPL, the games, what it means for Gravitas, and yeah, maybe even we'll talk about a cheeky Baron steal or two. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe
Because it's a bit,
touch on it.
yeah, it is a bit raw. Um, so yeah, nevertheless, the first match was Bombers versus Direwolves. Bryce,
Mm.
talk to me. What happened?
I think this was kind of classic Bombers. I think Loltais is making fun of me. Do I have my stage makeup on?
I'm
No.
telling you, man, you look good. You look very good.
That's a classic. No, I think Bombers versus Dire was like a pretty standard stuff. I think like Bombers, I just kind of like themselves as like one of the best, and I think like the like Balkan kind of was just well, he's just a completely unknown quantity, and I think he's just come in and like this game was a representation of him just being very good individually and like them having the trust in him to play the game. Because like this was just like he had a lot of freedom to just like kind of do what he wanted. They have very good setup for like a Kha'Zix pick, right? They have CC in genuinely every single lane.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. This was just like a 1v1 jungle show. And then he just got to like flex on them. And then he's like doing like super creative stuff. And I think this game, like trajectory wise, like followed exactly like what you would expect. Direwolves aren't exactly the most proactive team early, and then they didn't get too much done. And then eventually it like got to the stage where like Bombers are just running over.
I will fully back that, and I will say that that is an expected result, isn't it, Bryce?
Yeah.
But then, yeah, what can I ask? Why is there a cricket bat in the background? Just quickly.
It's that's
You
in
guys play
case
cricket?
scrims. That's in case scrims go poorly.
That's your tool. That's your weapon. Huh?
No.
Miss,
No,
Miss
it's actually,
Cannon, Miss Cannon, cricket bat.
I think the cricket bat actually came with like it was just here in the house.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We rocked up and there was a cricket bat, and
Nice.
then people just kind of like, they're just practicing their swing. Sometimes, like when we're standing around my computer doing a little bit of review, like
Yeah.
Jules gets it out, he starts whipping out an on drive and off drive. He's working on it.
Yep, that's fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough. And
Good time.
a big one from me is the next game. That's Autumn Mammoth, because from like like I guess I'm stagecoach, if you will, but like from a
You will.
perspective of someone within the organization, that game I'm monka essing, I'm sweating because I don't know who like I want to win. Like and
Okay.
then, well, because evidently there's a team that wins that game that's better for Gravitas, right? Like that is the case. So then
Yeah.
I in that game I'm like, okay, I think it's better for me or us if Mammoth win. Was that your thoughts?
I actually didn't think about it too much.
Yeah.
As in, I haven't genuinely put that much thought into that sort of stuff yet. I think it's certainly like we're tracking to the point of the split where that sort of stuff does matter. And there is probably genuinely like a strictly optimal outcome for us. But I don't know. Like, who do you think? Like, so you think like Mammoth winning that game is better for Gravitas?
I think so because I think just Mammoth like are better. So then like you can't rely on them being worse is what I'm trying to say. Whereas like Order
Oh,
have
not based on yours isn't based on like standings wise. It's
oh
based
it's
on
both
form
because they
wise.
were even. We were all even going into that match. We were all 5-5.
Yeah.
So it's like
Hmm.
it really like in terms of standings and who has like if you had to put like not money if you had to guess who would be the best in 4 weeks who would be better in 4 weeks time, I would say Mammoth
Mm.
would be.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty fair statement to make. I
Yeah.
think Order are somewhat like it's a rocky boat right now. They've had like they're a team with like consistency problems, right?
Mm.
And I think that's like fair to say for a
Some
number
would
of
say
teams.
performance problems.
But what does it mean that I don't understand? I don't know. But
Anyways,
like, I
keep
mean,
going.
like, because I think like Mammoth are following like a very stable trajectory of like disaster start to the split and the slow ramp, and it like that looks to be the way. Whereas Order was like horrible 0-2 first week, and then absolute banger like second and third, and
Mm.
then like up and down, up and down. So I think like it's not necessarily the most outlandish thing to be like, yeah, like you kind of expect Mammoth to maybe end up on top, if they follow like this sort of.
Yeah. Was it a good game? Did you enjoy it?
It was super weird. I feel like Order never really got their comp online. I think like there was a bunch, like it was like a this week. I feel like compared to like LCK was a week late
Mm.
for OPL in terms of like Galio support priority, and then like this game was like at like they got no proactive Galio ults off, and like they like Order just played like it was the first Skarner we've seen in the OPL. I think this split.
Mm.
They obviously have like a very nice dog, by the way.
Yeah, my
They have a
dog's really trying to headbutt his way out of the room.
Mm.
Oh well.
Like they have like Skarner comp. They have like Skarner and then like Triss LeBlanc for like pure DPS
Mm.
and Urgot for the execute. They obviously have like a pick someone, kill them, and then snowball like sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like you're against like a straight front to back like Braum, Sion, Kaiser, Zoe comp that scales fairly well, and they just didn't get enough done.
Yeah, I back that. I back that. This is why you're the head coach, Bryce. This is why you do
Mm.
what you do because very analytical man. The glasses,
Mm.
like sometimes people wear glasses for show, but your glasses, I can tell they have like an extra like 50 IQ in them.
I respect.
Yeah.
Actually, they're actually crooked. I really
Yeah,
want. I don't know.
I was there when you bumped into
really-
the washing line.
Yeah.
You literally
Yeah,
headbutted the washing line, dropped the glasses, and you contemplated life for like 20 seconds after.
yeah, and then you stacked it on the skateboard. It was a good
I
day.
actually did stack
That was
on
a
the
good day.
skateboard. Yeah, how I am, I asked my how are you, but the game after that, that was a Chiefs Gravitas game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was a bit of a Monka S game. Like it was a
I
good
mean,
game. Like as in when I say
yeah.
Monka S, I say Monka S. Like I was sad that like it was close. You know, like
Oh, as in, like it's worse to lose a close game.
Well-
You'd rather point out of the
when
water.
when you're in the game right up until you lose, I feel like that is upsetting.
Yeah,
after a
yeah, yeah.
loss.
I can back that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so like when you get perfect gamed, it's like okay, like that was very bad. Like I am
Mm.
extremely upset because we got perfect gamed, but
Yeah.
also you were like on the opposite end of the spectrum, if that makes sense. And I feel like
Yeah.
players get like way more upset when like the game is like winnable.
I mean, certainly because like you're harder on yourself. Because
Yeah.
like you make, like you know what I mean. Like it's just happened. It's real fresh. But
Mm.
like yeah, this was super close. This turned into. I mean, draft wise, it's always with like a rise, it's always going to be like monster split push later if it gets to the point. Like if you're Chiefs and you can get to like 30, 35 minutes and you have just like super standard, like if you're like 0-0 by that point, which is an extreme to prove the point, but like
Yeah.
they just want to set up for Clay later. And that is exactly what it turned into. Like
They
it's
actually-
hard force versus.
I feel like they played it very well. Like I'll be honest,
Mm.
we made poor decisions as well, but also I feel like they played it very well. Like to avoid any forcing, any fighting, like they gave us nothing, and the only time that we looked like we were gonna like, the only time that I guess when we brought the game back was when we decided, you know what, let's force Baron, and generally I feel like that's where like the 4-1 comps kind of fall or falter is like, what do we do when they force Baron?
When Chiefs force Baron.
Yeah.
Or you mean yeah. I mean, yeah, because it's just ultimately about opportunity, and like we obviously have more capacity to force on an opportunity, and theirs is just like how little they can concede, like whilst they set up. So it's like if the 1-3-1 ever gets gold lead / advantage and gets to set up like side lanes, then it's very difficult, and you just have to be like as us, you just have to straight up be like, okay, let's force Baron to force TP, and like at a certain point, like if you fall far enough behind, it's kind of like you you just have to 50-50 the Baron at a certain point. Otherwise, you're just going to get split with to death. But this game was like super close. I feel like the gold lead was like pretty minimal by the point it got to like 20, 30 minutes. And there was one point where I thought we genuinely won the game. I think Claire was top.
That
Claire
feels so bad when you say that. You're like,
Yeah,
we
like,
won the game.
Yeah, no. Like Clay was top, and he had no TP on Rise, and they like set up their split, but like he had hard committed by that point, and we got to pick mid lane, and I'm like, man, if we just force, if we're like our engage by that point wasn't very good because we have Jarvan Galio, but I think the cooldowns were down.
They also had a
so
very
it's like-
mobile comp. Like they had Tristana jump, Lee Sin hop, like Urgot. Like I guess we're not going on him sometimes, and they had like a Thresh Lantern. Like doesn't that just negate half of our engage?
I mean, partially. Like Thresh Lantern is like very useful for a long range AD carry like Triss, because like as soon as she burns jump, it's like, oh wow, I can't step up on auto because if I get Syndra stunned, then I'm just boom.
Boom.
But
I was gonna say boom, but you took it out of my mouth.
Nah, boom is definitely a me thing to say. But like Lantern is just another tool. And once Jarvan, like Lantern is very useful against like Jarvan Galio comp because the engage is delayed. Like Jarvan like locks you in, but Galio locks you down, but the lockdown is delayed enough that that like Lantern is useful.
Yeah. Yeah. So that that was a close game. There was good signs. But
I mean, given that we literally almost got perfect gamed against them last time, I feel like I was very happy. Like this is a loss that I mean it sucks to lose, but it was incredibly close, and I think like ultimately that's okay.
Yeah, I agree. Well, this is one that I wanted to talk about. I think this is my most like. I guess this will be a controversial one because I got some opinions on this one. It's the Avant Legacy game. Like Avant look like the team that like when they have a very good early game. Like and they have a very good early game and a good mid game. And this is like why you will see often that they have 8,000 gold leads. But I feel like in the last like 3 to 4 weeks, they have looked severely average late game. Even in games that they've won. And average is like me being like a nice guy, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think they've just played the same game twice in a row. As in, like there's the game versus Legacy and the game versus Order. In both those things, enemy team comes to drastically different, but AV have significant lead. And then literally in the same spot. In that, like I'm gonna try to describe it. Like the outside red side top gate from base, like they have dived for like some pick in there, setting up Baron, and like someone dies and it like stalls their setup for like another 2-3 minutes.
Don't coach them.
But like that. Like it's just, that has thing. Also, Aladoric like flashed and missed a Thresh hook, and that's just unacceptable behavior.
I feel like Aladoric's actually the type of player. Hey, and he's actually in chat right now.
That's why I'm flaming.
No, he's actually in the chat right now. And what I was gonna say about Aladoric, his best quality can sometimes be his worst.
Okay, hit me.
He is so aggressive that that is like. It is like mad respect because he's one of the few players who actually can translate what he does off stage on stage because he's not scared to do it, and then he actually wins his team games.
Yeah.
And then like there's times where he'll flash forward and die. Of course no one here's faker. Like we're not expecting a faker to flash forward 100% of the time and do like the right thing. But like I feel like Aladoric is like I got mad respect for him because he does that off cooldown either like 9 times like. Probably because AV's been doing quite well, like 70%, 80% of the time it's been really good, but then there's sometimes like that like mishap.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. I want to say like imagine Ryoma actually having Twitch Prime. That's a huge
Ryoma Ryoma's on the big bucks now. He can get Twitch Prime.
I back everything you've said in that like when you talk about characteristics of players, like decisiveness is something that is semi-intangible, and I've just sat here and played with my genes for ages. I'm going to stop that.
That's fine. You need to let everyone know you got holes in your genes and you're a fashion guru.
Well, I mean, this was unintentional. I actually ripped it. But anyway, but like decisiveness is something that is relatively intangible, but is very important and is like a clutch factor that will just randomly win you a game. Like surprises in League of Legends, like the ability to just like go for a flash something or whatever, like out of the blue, is very valuable.
I made a career of flashing forward, but half the time we lost the game because of it. So sometimes 50-50, you got to take it.
Level 2, 50-50 gank for flares. Win the series, lose the series.
We'll say follow Juves on the Penta episode. Not sure which one, but definitely putting that one on the resume, boys.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, what was the game after that? The game
Oh,
after that.
that was game
Yeah,
4.
so
So that's
that's
Friday done.
Friday
Yeah.
ended. Friday done.
Mm.
AV come back. They closed the game out. Well played. Um, the next game was Bombers versus Order. This game
Mm.
was scary for me because I feel like Order's the team that I'm not going to use the word overperforms because overperforms not a nice word, but I feel like
Use it.
Order play better against better opposition, but they've still lost. I think that's the important thing. Is like
Yeah.
Order play better against better opposition. When they play bad opposition, they do not look good.
Yeah. Okay. Like they played at the level of
Yes,
competition.
they play to the level of their opposition. And I feel like
Yeah.
this was one of those games where Order for probably like I can't really remember the game now, but like I reckon maybe 15 minutes, they actually looked decent. Like their bot lane was like hard winning. Yes, it was
Mm.
from a level 1, but like well played. You guys have to still capitalize on it. Um,
Yeah.
but I feel like they did not. And they also capitalized on Ryoma being monkey aggressive. And
Monkey
I
ass.
only call him monkey aggressive because he's in the chat. Um, but like
You know,
yeah,
you know my
Order.
favorite. You know my favorite Ryoma like thing.
What?
My favorite thing about Tommy Lee is no matter.
What is it with Charizard? Why has he got a Charizard?
No matter how fed Tommy is,
Yeah.
he's always gonna die
Yeah.
at a blue buff at like 35 minutes.
No,
Like
Tommy.
he's always gonna like in one of the crossroads, like the 4-way crossroads at either blue buff. Not even when blue buff is up, if he's like side laning or if he's like walking to his side lane. I tell you, I guarantee you, Tommy Lee, once per game, he'll give it to you. And look, that's just a nice little donation. And
No.
like,
I feel the same way about FBI. FBI,
yeah.
FBI will guarantee give you a minimum 1,000 gold shutdown at one point in the game. Like he will do it without fail off cooldown, and so I'm very happy we're versing them this week because
Yeah.
Tommy's feeling very degenerate. FBI is always going to give a donation, and like you never know what can happen after that. You never know. Bombers are first on the ladder, but I tell you what, with those two generous boys, it'll be a good game.
What are these emotes? Is that? I don't know.
I don't know. He's playing Pokemon in Twitch chat. That's about it.
Fair enough.
Okay, we'll move on from that. What we take from that is, Bombers have a roster that's very generous. Gravitas, Gravitas versus Mammoth. This one was Pepega Monkeys. All right. I actually have a highlight for this one, Bryce. We're not going to talk about the game. I'm going to bring the highlight up on the stream. And well, you maybe don't have the highlight up, so can you talk me through it? Can you go to Twitch TV Gravitas OS and maybe walk us through it?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be on a slight delay.
Oh,
I mean, I'm pretty sure I cast this game.
Yeah,
so why
don't I just link it to you?
No, why don't you cast the highlight?
Okay, I'll cast the highlight.
Yeah, that's
the
like
highlight.
Mix it up.
Alright, here we go. Gravitas with the 2 picks, they go towards the Baron. Well played. I'm going to mute you, Bryce, because you don't need to be talking over me. The redemption goes down from Decoy. This looks like a free Baron for the Gravitas boys. There's nothing that Mammoth can do. It's all over. This game, with Gravitas comp, when they secure this Baron, I think it will be over in 10 minutes. So we'll see. This Baron's just down on 2k. Decoy is charging, I don't know what it's called. Mr. Oh! Just so you know, I've put the webcam back on us, and I'm just thinking
Am
about.
I back?
Yeah, I'm just really thinking about what happened.
Can I speak? Yeah.
Yeah, what happened?
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna go back to it, and you talk, because I'm sure you remember it. What are your thoughts on this Baron? Because I feel like this Baron here was a very big swing point in the game.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously, I think like it's straight execution, but like everything was like, yeah, was set up like because it's just like spellbook smite. Obviously, losing the Baron that's hella suck. That's real no bueno. But like, I mean, this game was watching it back with the replay stuff. There's a ton of like tiny things that really add up over the course of the game. Like this was ultimately like somewhat a micro game.
Yeah.
Some degree. Like so there's a lot of moments where it's like the Pabu had like a huge flank on mid lane and his flash is like 3 seconds from coming up. After that was the fight where like Harry gets like Q flash onto double knock up in mid lane and Galio comes over the top and like there's a cannon running from top side and he literally has flash in 3 seconds. And I'm pretty sure on the broadcast I said he had flash and I wondered why.
Yeah.
But, like it was actually genuine spectator bug and his flash was 3 seconds.
I heard broadcast and you got what the comms was.
Yeah.
Why didn't he flash? And it's like, well,
yeah.
I'd like to think Pabu had flash there. He would have flashed.
Yeah. And Lolties, that is genuinely what like I'll leak that is genuinely like the comms.
Yep.
That was the plan, but like didn't happen. And I think like there was a few tiny moments. There's like a hook like on in like mid Java and EQ. Like I feel like Destiny had a very good game this game. On the Thresh in terms of just always being there when like because this is once again like it was a hard force comp against like Azir, Kai'Sa, Kindred. So it's like heavy proactivity versus heavy literally the opposite. Like
Yeah.
it's not that they don't have proactivity like tools. They have a Thresh, they have an Urgot, but it's like comp wise the style of game you expect Gravitas to be on the front foot to most of the plays. But I think like a bunch of tiny things really added up over the course of the game and then culminated in like when we lose Baron, it's very hard to be able to get back once like that goes over because like Azir's hitting 3 items, Kai'Sa's hitting 3 items, like Kindred's online, and it really does come down to because this had the capacity to be. I'll stop shaking my desk. This had the capacity to be an incredibly interesting like team fight phase with like you have interactions with like Kindred ulti where it can either like save you the game or literally lose you the game depending on like if people stack in, if Kennen gets like a 4-man ulti and stuff like that. But then like yeah, it just never realistically eventuated.
Yeah. Which was sad, but well played to old mates
Mammoth.
Mammoth.
The Mammoths. No, because I think like overall, like speaking from our end, it's like 0-2 weekend, that sucks. But like I think this out of all the 0-2 weekends we've had, these are against like well, the Mammoth loss hurts more because like I think Chiefs are relatively uncatchable in terms of like points going into Gauntlet.
Yep.
But Mammoths certainly were. Like being able to equalize the head-to-head 1-to-1 is like very useful for us in terms of a ladder math point of view.
Yeah.
Head
to head's been a bit because it's like a single. It's a best of 1, but also like a best of 3, if you know what I mean. Like end of season, you've played a best of 3.
because it's just triple round robin. So like going 1-1 into the third best of 3 allows you to like take it, whereas like going 0-2 now, it's like we can't even equalize. So it's just like tracking towards the end of the season, and it becomes more about like points and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's we have 1-1 head to head against like Order and AV, whereas now it's like 0-2 against Mammoth.
Yeah.
So like those now become like much more important games, I think, overall.
And then that's because you're old now, mate. Old people's eyes, they can't look at bright things in that much. That's why when you get old, you retire from League of Legends and you move into coaching, like all of us, like us 3. Okay, some move into casting. I get it.
I'm definitely
weird flex.
Still challenger.
Weird flex. Yeah, so am I. Right. I'm challenger in Apex Legends.
Are you actually? Never say that to me.
Chiefs vs Avant. Now this was a game where I was at the airport. I was watching it. I saw Chiefs like 4-0. I saw only like 3-0, and I literally turned it off because I was like, I have to go through security, and this game's over. Because it was like I think it was a couple K gold lead, and it just really looked like Chiefs were like rolling over this game. And then like I think I actually ordered a burrito. I got my burrito. I got my drink. I sat down.
Chicken or beef?
Chicken.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. What? Beef? Burrito? Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the guava Mexican drink. What's it called?
No.
Okay, I'll show you a picture next time, or we'll go get one next time. Anyway. And then I see Prayless sitting next to me in his Yeezys, and I was like, dude, what are you watching? And he's like, Chiefs Avant are gonna win. And I was like, wait, what? And then I turned the game on, and then when I turned it on, Chiefs won, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So
I think I have a fairly weak grasp on like what happened this game. I'm looking at it right now, and I think like because they're obviously AV are in a disastrous situation. Like 0-3 Evelyn is not the start you want to a game.
I feel like this week was actually a week of just Baron steals. Even in Korea,
no, there was.
Like they just.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like internationally as well? Because Jake was saying on the OPL broadcast, he literally said on the couch, like there've been so many Barons steals this week. But because it's also like comp wise, like once AV fall behind, it's very hard to get back in this game. Like you have Ali Nocturne Force against a comp that wants to hard split but doesn't have the capacity to set up a split because they have no pressure. But like I'm not sure what the swing point was, but I do need to like say that I was definitely painting an absolutely impeccable Nico picture.
Impeccable, huh?
That's why I have a fairly weak grasp.
Impeccable, you reckon? That's what you're saying. You're telling me.
I added so much depth with the white. That was top tier.
You're telling me
my painting skills infinitely better than everyone else.
Yeah, look, we can probably agree to disagree. What game did Flame steal Baron from Kant? Not from Khan, from SKT. Was the game 1, 2, or 3?
I'm not certain.
All
Not
right. We don't watch Korea either, so we don't rate watching Korea.
Ayla show dogs. Nah, Ayla's flank was actually I love that. That's like what I always talk
Can
about
you
the.
timestamp that? Do you have the timestamp?
Nah, I'm trying to find it right now, but
Yeah.
I think
It was
it's
nasty. It was nasty regardless.
yeah, it's I'm getting to it, but like it's uh CLG CLG versus was it like Samsung White back in the day where like Marta hard flanks in the Aurelion Sol game like that. That is super cool like play, and it was like same sort of thing. It's like a very deep preemptive flank. Like you set that up like a few minutes in advance to like
Yeah.
know that where they're gonna set up, and like that's cool League of Legends.
There's a player who's
I
like
like that.
he's pretty. There's a player that who's been gone for a few years that like it's real reminiscent of him. What region did he play in?
I think it's OPL. I think it
OPL.
was
I think his
actually
name was Ejim Aligod.
I think it's banger. Actually, dude, I had some hella Rakan flanks.
No, don't talk. You're not a Rakan. You were never known for your Rakan. You were known for Alistar,
Nah,
and that's it. I think you try and flip the script and pretend you had a lot more
literally,
in your arsenal than
I
you did. You
literally,
were Alistar, Thresh, Bard. Don't
I
talk about
literally
Lulu.
played
Don't talk about anything.
until 2017. Oh, Bard, absolute banger. But like until 2017, and you're talking about 2014.
How are you, Domalicious?
Yeah,
That's a
okay,
sick
nice,
name.
nice,
I actually like the name
nice
Domalicious.
dodge, nice dodge.
Domalicious is
Um,
a really good name. Alright, the last game of the week, Bryce. The last game of the week, I actually enjoyed watching. Genuinely
mm,
enjoyed watching because it was just
mm,
a good slugfest. Do you know what a
yeah,
slugfest is? Just
I
little
absolutely
running
do.
down mid lane and just fighting. Like
Yeah,
like when we versed Chiefs, they played with Rise and they didn't group, and we never saw Rise until our three inhibs were down. This
mm,
time, Legacy versus Direwolves, Legacy had
mm.
Rise, and I swear to God, Rise was just team fight. Like I think it was like, boys, I'm power spiking on Rise Ultimate. Let's team fight.
On
That
Realm Warp.
Yes, that's literally what happened that game.
Yeah, I like that. Like those are the those are the most entertaining games.
I will shout out
I'm,
Praedyth. I actually think Praedyth had some. I don't know about his lane because I don't remember lane, but his
Mhm.
team fighting on Kalista was good. I think his.
Praedyth, yeah, I just think overall, like out of most legacy games, like I mean, there's something to be said about like potentially his KDA farming, like
Yeah,
somewhat. You know what I mean? He's
but
not
he's.
willing to go in with the fellas, but like he at the end of like most legacy games, and they've lost a lot of games this season, right? Like he's the one that like has like he's up like 50 CS or something
Mm,
like 30 CS. He's playing Sivir and she just absorbs waves, but like it's somewhat a consequence of like style and champ, but it's also a consequence of like just actually playing very consistently, given that he's literally role swapped split.
and there's a few players because this series was just literally team fighting and who executed better won. But
Mm,
the last few players that I'll just special mention because I think they've been playing really well is I think
mm.
Biopanther has been like really solid. I think Getback's been like really solid. But
I
like
think Get Back has surprised a lot of people.
yeah, well
Um,
I actually
Especially early laning phase. Like he's actually had some decent like early lanes against some of like the best mid laners in the region.
yeah,
Um,
I agree.
yeah.
But I also think Chaz is the same. Like I
Mm,
think Chaz the last couple of weeks, I can't go back 4 weeks and tell you. The last two
yeah.
weeks specifically, like against AV, against
Mm,
Direwolves, he has been good. Like he has
yeah.
been good. And then like Shock is also been good. So for Chaz to like be up there with him, like that's like real props to Chaz. So I think like I think those two teams who have gone like the real developmental route should be very proud of like how their players are like trucking along.
Yeah. Because
Um,
it's somewhat comes down to a case of like you expect like young upstarts to be able to take stuff off the like higher tier like more consistent players, and that
yeah.
has been like the case, but like it's the consistency and like the experience that like the top tier mid laners have that like edges them out like more time and again. It's also like a consequence of like the teams they're on versus like they're fighting up the ladder, but like
Mm,
I definitely agree. I feel like Chaz is someone that you see a ton in like solo queue.
I wouldn't
Just
know.
like
I'm not
he
that
like
high.
well no, but he's just like he all he does is literally play like Talon. Well, that's not true. He plays other things, but like I genuinely just saw him like last week, like going into the OPL week, grinding Talon like duo with Guts every single game,
Yeah.
and like he obviously like plays a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and just to round it up,
Mm.
round it off or round it up, whichever I don't know, whatever's the correct terminology. But I never
Play
said
flow,
I never
play
said I was
flow.
good at English, so
Mm.
we'll leave it at that. Um, okay. Obviously, it wasn't a good week going 0-2, but in terms
Mm.
of like holistically, well, you just said at the start you haven't really been paying attention to results and gauntlet pushes and things like that. So next week or this week coming, I should say. What's your
Mhm.
thoughts? What's your concerns? Give me something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to ask, but give me something.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, so we have legacy bombers for people that don't know, and I
Mm,
think like this is compared to like Chiefs Mammoth. Like on paper, you strictly have to look at this and be like, it's an easier week to get a win.
yeah.
You know what I mean? 0-2, like I would like this is like a difficult game, and this is also like an easier game. Like respecting both opponents, it's like you can't say that bombers aren't better than legacy. But like last time we played against bombers, we actually had a very good early game, and it was the transition that like hurt us. And I feel like potentially that has been like a recurring theme in some of our games.
I
Um,
definitely feel our transition's gotten better though since then. Way
oh,
better since
certainly,
then. Since then,
certainly. Yeah, I
because
know. I
we
think
just started to play a little bit, like we just started to play better at that time. That was kind of when we were on our uprise. Like that Bombers game
mm,
was like, okay, like this is like where we
yeah,
play, like we start to play our level. And so I
yeah.
think it'd be interesting. Like I actually, a lot of people might like not might laugh, but a lot of people probably obviously going to tip against us. But I'll say this is like a week where I feel like Bombers are on a win streak. Like
Mm.
they're doing really well, and they're probably the best
The
team.
overconfidence
Yeah,
player.
yeah. Like I feel like that
Yeah.
is a possibility, and I know Tommy and I know FBI, and I feel like if there's a week like that they can drop a game, or there's a
Mm.
week where we can take one, I think that's this week because I don't think we're too far off being one of the better teams in the league.
No, genuinely, I don't think there's any. I mean, I don't think there's any team in the league that like guaranteed wins.
Yeah.
Um, like every single game. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I think Bombers have certainly shown like some weaknesses here and there. I think their top side of the map has looked very good, and they've also shown that they like do like they have like a threatening roster from like every single angle. You know what I mean? And they've talked about their willingness, like in interviews, FBI I think said it last week, their willingness to like as soon as somebody gets ahead, the other side of the map's like, all right, man, that's it's not my game. I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like genuinely, like to hit on it again, like last time we like it was just the transition and we were like ahead early and in control.
Yeah.
So like if that happens again, like
If
it's
that
just
happens again, it's
on us
over.
to close.
It's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. So
Um.
that's a poggers.
Yeah. All right. Well. Yeah. That's really all from me, Bryce.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Thanks for taking your time out to join me and have a discussion,
No, it's fun.
a little rewind on the games and what it means for Gravitas and like what it, and giving us a little inside scoop on the boys. Yeah, like so we'll be for those of you that are here and watching it live. This will be posted elsewhere on YouTube, on Facebook and stuff like that. And I'll be back next. What? Well,
Nothing.
it's on Twitch anyways. Like, I don't
No,
know.
I was
Maybe
laughing. I was
maybe
laughing at Switch chat. Sorry.
I was gonna say what is it's the cricket bat for them. Yeah, so this will be back 100% next week. I will be back next week with it. So, keep this time, put it in your diary, put it in your Google Calendar, share it with everyone. Say, here, boys, this is
Google
Google
Calendar,
Calendar.
so good.
It is really an optimal program. Shout out Pixel 3s. Yeah, so now actually Pabu is streaming. The guy, if you don't know who Pabu is the guy that solo killed Faker, double lift, and everyone else in between. So straight from here, I will host him. And
Check it out.
yeah, maybe check it out. Not maybe, definitely check it out and hang around. Again, thanks for joining me, Bryce. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.